When you think of Canada, what comes to mind? Maybe it's the Rocky Mountains, the CN Tower, or vast snowy plains? All good answers. But I'm here to tell you, the story of Canada, the real gritty salt-of-the-earth story, starts right here on the East Coast. This isn't just a place on the map, it's the country's front porch, its original welcome mat. They call it the Atlantic Gateway, and for centuries, this is where Canada began for so many. It's where ships first arrived, where cultures first met, and where the foundation of this nation was laid, one fishing village and one rugged coastline at a time. It's a place that feels ancient and new all at once. My own journey started here. I landed with a suitcase full of expectations and a map that seemed way too big. I expected politeness, maple syrup, and maybe a moose sighting if I was lucky. What I found was something much deeper. The Atlantic Gateway isn't just 4 provinces: Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. It's a state of mind. It's the smell of the salt spray in the air, the sound of a fiddle playing in a pub, and the incredible warmth of the people who call this place home. It's the first chapter in the Canadian story, and to truly understand this country, you have to start at the beginning. This region is Canada's historic anchor. Before there was a Canada, there were fishing outposts in Newfoundland, French settlements in Acadia, and British forts in Halifax. This is where Indigenous peoples, like the Mi'kmaq, Wolastoqiyik, and Beothuk, have lived for thousands of years, their stories woven into the very fabric of the land and sea. Then came the Europeans, the Vikings, the French, the English, the Irish, the Scottish, all arriving on these shores, bringing their hopes, their conflicts, and their cultures. Walking through these provinces feels like turning the pages of a history book, but a living one, where every cliff, cove, and cobblestone street has a tale to tell. So why does this matter for a newcomer today in 2025? It matters because the spirit of the Atlantic Gateway is the spirit of Canada in its purest form. It's about resilience, community, and making a life in a place that can be both beautiful and unforgiving. It's about neighbors helping neighbors through tough winters and celebrating together through brilliant summers. Understanding this region helps you understand the values that built this nation, the importance of heritage, the strength found in diversity, and the unbreakable connection between people and the natural world. It's the perfect place to start your own Canadian story. You can't talk about Atlantic Canada without talking about the ocean. It's not just a backdrop. It's the main character in the story. The Atlantic Ocean dictates everything here. The weather, the economy, the food, the culture, and even the way people talk. For the 4 provinces of the Gateway, the sea is a provider, a challenge, and a constant companion. It has shaped the coastline into a masterpiece of jagged cliffs, sandy beaches, and hidden coves. It has given birth to industries like fishing and shipbuilding, which have sustained families here for generations. The ocean is in their blood. Living by the sea creates a unique kind of person. There's a toughness, a certain grit, that comes from facing down North Atlantic gales. But there's also a profound respect and a deep, almost spiritual connection to the water. I saw it in the eyes of a fisherman in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, as he mended his nets, his hands telling a story of a lifetime spent at sea. I heard it in the songs sung in kitchens in Newfoundland, tales of shipwrecks and bountiful catches, of loves lost and fortunes found on the waves. The ocean's rhythm becomes the rhythm of life itself. The ocean's influence is everywhere you look. The cuisine is a testament to its bounty: fresh lobster, scallops, mussels, and of course, cod. Every town seems to have its own secret recipe for fish and chips, each one claiming to be the best. The architecture, too, is shaped by the sea. Lighthouses stand like stoic sentinels on windswept points, their beams cutting through the fog to guide sailors home. The brightly painted houses in coastal villages, like the famous Jelly Bean Row in St. John's, were said to help fishermen find their way back through the mist. It's a landscape built of practicality and poetry. For me, a newcomer, the ocean was a powerful teacher. It taught me about patience as I watched the tide roll in and out at the Bay of Fundy, a spectacle of nature's immense power. It taught me about humility as I stood on the cliffs of Cape Spear, the most easterly point in North America, feeling the raw, untamed wind whip around me. It showed me that in this part of the world, you don't conquer nature, you learn to live with it, to respect its moods, and to be grateful for its gifts. The Atlantic is the heart of this region, and its beat echoes in every aspect of life here. My first stop was Newfoundland and Labrador, a place that feels like it's at the edge of the world, and in many ways, it is. This is where North America begins. Its history is one of the oldest in the New World. Centuries before Columbus, the Vikings landed at L'Anse aux Meadows, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Walking among the reconstructed sod huts, I could almost hear the echoes of their Norse sagas. Then, in 1497, John Cabot arrived, claiming the Newfoundland for England and kicking off a fishing frenzy that would define the province for the next 500 years. This history is raw and tangible, not locked away in a museum. The landscape here is as dramatic as its history. The province is a rugged masterpiece of fjords, barrens, and towering cliffs carved by ancient glaciers. I hiked the trails of Grosmore National Park, another UNESCO site, where you can literally walk on the Earth's mantle. Rocks that were once deep beneath the ocean floor, now pushed up for all to see. It's a geology lesson on a massive scale. And then there are the icebergs. In the spring, these majestic 10,000-year-old giants float down from Greenland, a parade of frozen sculptures drifting past coastal villages. It's a sight that leaves you speechless. The symbols of this province are as unique as its people. The provincial flower is the pitcher plant, a carnivorous plant that thrives in the bogs and marshes, a perfect symbol for a place that is beautiful but tough. The provincial bird is the Atlantic puffin, with its colorful beak and comical walk, a beloved resident of the coastal cliffs. And of course, there's the Newfoundland dog, a gentle giant known for its swimming ability and rescue instincts, a true reflection of the helpful and resilient spirit of the people. These symbols aren't just pictures on a flag, they are part of the province's identity. If there's one thing to remember about Newfoundland and Labrador, it's the spirit of the people. Newfoundlanders are famous for their hospitality, their unique dialect, and their incredible sense of humor. A tradition for newcomers is to get screeched in, a ceremony that involves a shot of Newfoundland screech rum, a short recitation, and kissing a codfish. It sounds bizarre, and it is, but it's a hilarious and warm-hearted welcome into the community. It's a reminder that in this wild and beautiful place, connection and laughter are the most valuable currencies. After the rugged drama of Newfoundland, arriving in Prince Edward Island felt like stepping into a peaceful storybook landscape. They call it the Gentle Island, and the name fits perfectly. The province is a patchwork of rolling green hills, rich red soil, and pristine sandy beaches. It's a place that seems to move at a slower, more deliberate pace. The island's history is deeply connected to agriculture and the sea, but it's also the birthplace of Canada in a political sense. In 1864, the Charlottetown Conference was held here, the first meeting that led to the creation of the country in 1867. Province House stands as a proud monument to this pivotal moment. The island's most famous claim to fame, however, is literary. This is the home of Anne of Green Gables, the beloved novel by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Visiting Green Gables Heritage Place in Cavendish felt like walking into the pages of the book. I saw the white farmhouse with its green trim, walked the paths of the haunted wood, and felt the magic that has captivated millions of readers around the world. The landscape of PEI isn't just scenery, it's a character in one of the world's most cherished stories. The island's natural beauty is gentle but profound, from the singing sands of Basin Head to the dramatic red cliffs of the North Shore. The symbols of Prince Edward Island reflect its gentle nature. The provincial flower is the lady's slipper, a delicate and rare orchid that grows in the island's woodlands. The provincial bird is the blue jay, a smart and vibrant bird that adds a splash of color to the landscape. The island's official tartan, with its shades of red, green, and gold, represents the red soil, the green fields, and the sunshine that blesses the island. These symbols paint a picture of a place that is both beautiful and nurturing, a small province with a huge heart. For newcomers, Prince Edward Island is a lesson in the beauty of community and the power of a quiet, well-lived life. The island is famous for its keelets, community gatherings with music, dancing, and storytelling. I went to one in a small community hall, and within minutes, I felt like part of the family. People shared stories, played the fiddle, and danced with an infectious joy. What you should remember about PEI is this: big things can come from small places. It's an island that gave Canada its start and gave the world one of its most beloved characters, all while maintaining its peaceful, welcoming charm. Next, I found myself in Nova Scotia, a province whose name means New Scotland and whose motto is Canada's Ocean Playground. Both are incredibly fitting. The Scottish influence is everywhere, from the sound of bagpipes echoing across the highlands of Cape Breton to the vibrant tartans worn with pride. But this province is also a historical heavyweight. Halifax, its capital, has one of the world's largest natural harbors, which has made it a strategic military and shipping hub for centuries. I walked along the waterfront and visited Pier 21, the gateway to Canada for over 1 million immigrants between 1928 and 1971. It was a powerful reminder that for so many, the Canadian dream started right here. The natural wonders of Nova Scotia are breathtaking, especially along the world-famous Cabot Trail. Driving this winding road through the Cape Breton Highlands National Park is an unforgettable experience. The road clings to the mountainside, offering jaw-dropping views of the ocean on one side and lush, forested hills on the other. At the other end of the province, the Bay of Fundy boasts the highest tides on Earth. Watching the water recede for kilometers at low tide, exposing the ocean floor, and then rush back in again hours later, is a display of nature's power that is simply awe-inspiring. It's a place where the land and sea are in a constant, dramatic dance. Nova Scotia's symbols are deeply tied to its maritime heritage. The provincial flower is the Mayflower, one of the first blooms to appear after the long winter, a symbol of resilience and new beginnings. The provincial bird is the osprey, a magnificent bird of prey that builds its nests near the water and is a master fisher, perfectly representing the province's relationship with the sea. The provincial tartan, with its blues, greens, and whites, reflects the colors of the ocean, the forests, and the surf. These symbols celebrate a province that is forever connected to the water that surrounds it. What should a newcomer remember about Nova Scotia? Remember its history of welcome and its vibrant culture. This is a province that knows how to celebrate. The Celtic Colours International Festival in Cape Breton is a 9-day celebration of music and culture that draws artists and visitors from around the world. But it's not just about big festivals. It's about the music that spills out of pubs in Halifax, the fresh seafood served in seaside diners, and the stories shared by locals. Nova Scotia feels like the heart of the Atlantic Gateway, a place where history, culture, and stunning natural beauty come together in perfect harmony. My final stop on this Atlantic journey was New Brunswick, the only officially bilingual province in Canada. Here, English and French cultures live side by side, a legacy of its complex history as the heart of historic Acadia. This duality is a core part of its identity, creating a really rich cultural tapestry. The province is known as the Picture Province for its beautiful landscapes, but honestly, it could just as easily be called the River Province. Mighty rivers like the St. John and the Miramichi have shaped the land and the lives of the people here for millennia, serving as highways for Indigenous peoples, early settlers, and the forestry industry. New Brunswick's natural wonders are defined by water in its most dramatic forms. The star attraction is the Bay of Fundy, which it shares with Nova Scotia. I visited the Hopewell Rocks, also known as the Flower Pot Rocks, at low tide and walked on the ocean floor among these giant water-sculpted formations. 6 hours later, I returned to see them transformed into small islands, with the water level having risen by an incredible 16 meters. It's a natural clock of immense scale. The province also has vast, unspoiled forests, making it a paradise for hiking, camping, and appreciating the quieter side of nature. The symbols of New Brunswick speak to its forest and river heritage. The provincial flower is the purple violet, a delicate flower that grows in the province's woodlands. The provincial bird is the black-capped chickadee, a small but hardy bird that stays through the harsh winters, a symbol of endurance and cheerfulness. The province's tartan features colors representing the forests, the rivers, and the loyalty of its early settlers. These symbols connect the province to its natural resources and the resilient character of its people, both English-speaking loyalists and French-speaking Acadians. For a newcomer, New Brunswick offers a living lesson in Canadian harmony. The Acadian culture is vibrant and proud, especially during the Tintamarre, a part of the National Acadian Day celebrations on August 15th. People parade through the streets, dressed in the blue, white, and red of the Acadian flag, making as much noise as possible with pots, pans, and horns to celebrate their survival and cultural vitality. What to remember about New Brunswick is its unique blend of cultures and its powerful connection to both the forest and the sea. It's a place where 2 languages and 2 histories have come together to create one beautiful province. Looking back on my journey through the Atlantic Gateway, I realize I found more than just beautiful scenery and interesting history. I found a certain spirit, a way of life that is unique to this corner of Canada. It's a spirit built on a foundation of hard work, resilience, and a deep, unshakable sense of community. In a world that often feels rushed and disconnected, the East Coast moves to a different rhythm. People take the time to talk, to listen, and to help one another. It's a place where a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet, a lesson I learned over and over again. This spirit is born from a shared history of facing challenges together. Whether it was surviving a brutal winter, enduring the collapse of the cod fishery, or rebuilding after a storm, Atlantic Canadians have always relied on each other. I saw this in the community suppers, the kitchen parties, and the simple act of a neighbor clearing a snowy driveway without being asked. This sense of interdependence creates a powerful bond that is palpable, even to a visitor. It's a reminder that strength doesn't just come from individual toughness, but from the connections we forge with those around us. The connection to the land and sea is also central to this spirit. People here don't just live on the land, they are a part of it. They know the names of the coves, the patterns of the tides, and the secrets of the forest. This deep relationship fosters a sense of stewardship and respect for the natural world. It's something that can be lost in big city life, but here it is essential. It teaches you to appreciate the small things, the taste of a wild blueberry, the sound of waves crashing on the shore, the sight of the Milky Way in a clear night sky. As a newcomer to Canada, this journey was the best introduction I could have asked for. It taught me that Canada is not a monolith. It's a collection of distinct regions, each with its own story, its own character, and its own soul. The Atlantic Gateway showed me the country's roots. It showed me a way of life that values people over possessions, community over competition, and resilience over ease. This spirit is a gift, and it's one that has profoundly shaped my understanding of what it means to be Canadian. It's the spirit of the first handshake, the first welcome, and the first home. Every place has its symbols, but in Atlantic Canada, these symbols feel especially meaningful. They are not just logos on a government website. They are woven into the daily lives and identities of the people. Take the tartans, for example. Each of the 4 provinces has its own official tartan, a pattern of crisscrossing colored bands. These aren't just for ceremonial kilts. You see them on scarves, blankets, and hats, a visible badge of provincial pride. The colors are carefully chosen to represent the landscape, the blue of the sea, the green of the forests, the white of the snow, and the red of the soil. The provincial flowers and birds are also more than just trivia. The mayflower in Nova Scotia, the pitcher plant in Newfoundland, the purple violet in New Brunswick, and the lady's slipper in Prince Edward Island are all native plants that speak to the unique natural environment of each province. They symbolize resilience, beauty, and a connection to the land that runs deep. Seeing a puffin on a cliff in Newfoundland or a blue jay in Prince Edward Island isn't just a wildlife sighting. It feels like a greeting from the province itself. These living symbols are a constant reminder of the wild beauty that defines this region. Celebrations here are a serious business, and they are the lifeblood of the community. Festivals are not just for tourists, they are for the people who live there, a chance to come together and celebrate their shared culture. From the raucous George Street Festival in St. John's to the sophisticated Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival in Fredericton, these events are expressions of pure joy. The music is central. Fiddles, guitars, and accordions are the soundtrack of the East Coast, and the music tells stories of the sea, of love, of hardship, and of home. It's a culture you can hear and feel. For a newcomer, participating in these traditions is the fastest way to feel connected. When you tap your foot to a fiddle tune at a Sealid, when you cheer for the pipers at the Antigonish Highland Games, or when you join the noisy Tintamarre Parade in Acadia, you are no longer an outsider. You are part of the celebration. These symbols and traditions are the threads that bind the community together. They are an open invitation to share in the history, the pride, and the vibrant spirit of Atlantic Canada, making you a part of its ongoing story. My journey through Canada's Atlantic Gateway was more than a trip. It was an education. It taught me that to understand a country, you have to know where it started. The story of Canada didn't begin in the halls of Parliament in Ottawa. It began in the fishing dories off the Grand Banks, in the Acadian settlements of the Maritimes, and at the Indigenous council fires that have burned for millennia. This region is the cradle of the nation, and its history is a microcosm of the larger Canadian experience, a story of different peoples coming together, sometimes in conflict, sometimes in cooperation, to build a new society. Learning about this region is essential for any new Canadian because it reveals the core values of citizenship. It shows the importance of honoring Indigenous heritage and acknowledging the complex history of European settlement. It demonstrates the value of bilingualism, not as a political policy, but as a lived reality in New Brunswick. It highlights the incredible resilience required to build a life here and the deep sense of community that arises from that shared struggle. These are not abstract concepts. They are lessons written on the landscape and embodied by the people of the East Coast. The Atlantic Gateway is, in essence, a lesson in Canadian diversity. Not just the diversity of cultures that we celebrate today, but the foundational diversity of the country. The distinct identities of Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick show that Canada has never been one single thing. It has always been a mosaic, a collection of strong, unique regions that together form a stronger whole. Understanding the pride a Nova Scotian has for their home, or a Newfoundlander for theirs, helps you understand the nature of Canadian federalism and the importance of regional identity. Ultimately, the gift of the Atlantic Gateway is a feeling of connection. By exploring this region, a newcomer doesn't just learn facts about history or geography. You gain an emotional connection to the Canadian story. You begin to see yourself as part of a long line of people who came to these shores with hope in their hearts. The Atlantic Gateway may be the eastern entrance to the country, but it's also an entrance to understanding its soul. It's where the story begins. And for any newcomer, it's the perfect place to start writing your own Canadian chapter.